Field Report, 2nd of April 1938. General-Major Vladimir Andreev, 4th Mechanized. After redeployment of our battalions via the impressive local railway network, we have, according to the plans laid out by General Stefan, broken the stalemate and eliminated the syndicalist resistance around San Antonio in a rapid thrust. The lack of heavy weapons on the enemy militia side prevented them from effectively countering our tanks, and after securing the port facilities at Corpus Christi, we swung north along the main road towards Houston. There has been minimal resistance from local militia cells and fanatical civilians at the bridge across the Brazos River near Richmond, but they were dispersed by our professional motorized infantry. Everyone in this region appears to be armed though, so our rules of engagement leave much to be desired and required some flexible adjustments in the field. How do you treat an armed group of civilians laying in ambush, opening fire at our troops moving along the road? We used to fire warning shots to disperse them, but that only led to them to be more brazen in their next attacks. Once we had crossed into Houston proper, we encountered the first use of explosives by the local resistance, likely mining equipment, and we took minor losses. After that incident near the zoo, we changed from warning shots to fire for effect at first response of being fired upon. This worked, at least for our purposes. The attacks ceased for a while, and soon we were relieved by the 5th Red Devils from the Pacific States, who speak the language of the locals and can take care of counterinsurgency much more effectively. Civil war is always ugly. I'm glad that Russia has managed to put that chapter of our history behind us. On the American front, we have completely broken through enemy lines in the south, while the rest of the Union troops is engaged near Dallas, especially that large concentration there. And that leaves us pretty open. So we're pushing the objective a little bit and see if we can take New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and then skirt north to secure basically the whole southern sector, and then probably collapse it via Oklahoma to secure a defensible line against the syndicates. Or alternatively, depending on how things are going, we could also push even further and see if we can make our way towards Kansas. But again, the supply positions are important. So these supply hubs, it might be good to make our way all the way towards almost Memphis, but I think that is relatively close to syndicalist lines already. So we'll be facing a fair amount of pushback at that regard. In China, we are still trying to make a break across the river. I don't think we will manage to get through here, to be honest. So what is an alternative that we can actually legitimately take? We could try to assist with retaking the fortification and see if we can break through in the north, because getting through the fortified divisions here in the hills is turning out to be significantly harder than expected. So we're going to stop the assault here for now, and simply and once again draw up new plans for an attack against the Chinese positions in the north, where we might be able to effect something. Unfortunately, we have a fair amount of troops concentrated here, but it seems difficult to break through enemy lines. So we'll draw up the plans properly. Let the units regain some organization and defend for the time being. In Indonesia, we are supporting the local uprising against the Dutch, which means the 2 experienced mountain divisions can, I think, immediately begin with taking Batavia, and with that, I think we'll be rapidly eliminating the remaining central resistance here, which just leaves us in the States, where we have encountered the first enemy resistance at Shreveport. Given that this is a river crossing, this is less than an ideal situation, so we'll bypass the enemy infantry simply and leave the cleanup to friendly troops. Now they are counterattacking, but they obviously the 4th Iron Horse, but they obviously have the same problem. There are some defenders in Baton Rouge, so I think we can probably simply resort to securing territory and again bypassing that for now and waiting for friendly infantry to catch up while that happens. Here we are on the move, and in China, yeah, everyone. So we're going to have to wait for plant preparations to be properly executed here before we can do much more. Okay, construction 3 is complete, which is great. We had taken this ahead of time. We could almost go for construction 4, but I think it's just too early for that. We're already doing concentrated 3 ahead of time. So it's probably time to look. Yeah, we've got a few infantry techs that need doing. So we'll start getting on with these and catching up here. Okay, more resistance now from enemy militia, which means that we are probably. How's the supply situation here? Okay, that's a supply hub. We need to take that, but in order for that to be connected, we would have to take Dallas. So that's actually starting to get a little more frayed here. We'll see how far we can push the envelope before we have to start reducing enemy resistance again and getting the armored divisions supported. All right. Here's not much we need to do. So back here. Okay, we are now. I think one of the important tasks is to already secure the other side of the crossing. So we will leave the assault against Batavia to the 64th, and we get the 60th to bypass. And in fact, actually, we're going to use the 64th to bypass, and we're going to just follow up momentum, and we're going to get the 60th instead to work on taking Batavia, because we don't want to lose momentum and then having to cross into a defensible position. So that should be relatively straightforward, unless of course they get support. We cannot deploy aircraft because that means we have to fight under red air. So this is becoming increasingly an issue to fight under enemy aerial superiority, and we will have to start issuing anti-aircraft weapons relatively soon to our divisions. But let's focus on the American situation. Okay, I think we are starting to see enemy forces now consolidating the lines here. So our initial breakthroughs will probably push north here and see that we can secure some territory. But our initial breakthroughs are going to have to be consolidated at this stage. So we will see if there are any. No, there's no supply line north. So. We'll probably work on securing the lines as is and waiting for the infantry to catch up, because I think we have reached the extent of what we could do before the Union troops are starting to stabilize the front lines. We can still break through a few positions and potentially see if we can work on encirclements. So if we can encircle and destroy enemy positions here, then I think we are in a much better situation that we can continue the rapid advance into Union territory. All right. China is going to still take a few days. So I'm back here. Unfortunately, now enemy divisions have reinforced. This is exactly what I was afraid of. And because we have to do a landing operation here, this is becoming increasingly difficult for the 64th Mountain to effect. So I think instead we'll regain some organization and draw a new front line, which hopefully would then. I'm not sure I can actually even there. No. Okay, I'll try to sort that out, but we might have to plan that landing, because this is a cross-island operation, so this is going to be difficult. But maybe once we take out Batavia, the situation will get better. So 64th has not managed to, because the troops are literally not equipped for this, has not managed to get across. However, we'll see what happens once Batavia falls, if the government retreats and continues resisting, or if we are in a better situation. All right, let's keep focusing on the American states for now, where the enemy troops are still trying to stabilize the front line. Germany appears to be upset that we have reneged on the Vilnius Agreement. The German Foreign Office and representatives of German business interests were outraged at our blatant breach of international laws of trade but ultimately understood that Germany has only a limited amount of means to counter us. They adopted a more pragmatic, or perhaps more profit-seeking stance of negotiation. If the Russian government is willing to compensate for unjustly caused economic damages, Germany will also maintain a gentlemanly attitude and refrain from economic sanctions, which would only hurt both sides. So we have a new mini-game by the looks of it. Let's see. Where was the... so that's the stranglehold of German capital. So we can either spend 30 political power and compensate the Germans. I see no reason to do so, because we are actually actively working on reducing their influence. Paying them would be rather counterproductive. Or they get sanctions points. Okay, so they can start sanctioning our economy. That, I believe, so sorry, I'm gonna have to try really hard to stay on topic here. But sanctions from Central European states against Russia will not actually work the way that they intend. Mostly they will backfire on their own industry. So no deals with the Prussians. And I think they will soon come to realize that the days where the German capitalists could pillage the Russian countryside for their own profit have come to an end. So no, that gives them a sanctions point. We'll see what comes of it, but we're not doing that. And with that, we're going back to the hardened front line, still far away from everything. So let's keep an eye on the American situation. Yeah, I think we will need to potentially start encircling and destroying a few positions. We could just cut north here, but I don't think any of that would remove their... No, they still have railway networks to reach Dallas. Yeah, Dallas is going to be an inflection point here, I think. So getting towards Dallas is going to be significant. And that's going to be the first major deconstruction of enemy fighting power here. We have encountered some Argentinian divisions, interestingly enough, as part of the Union State. So this goes to show who's behind the whole thing, because it is probably the Reichspakt. Unfortunately, Argentina has been stabilized, but this is not going to last them very long. I think we'll take the third and simply see if we can establish positions behind enemy lines here, while the other two divisions are holding the line against enemy counterattacks. So oh no, we are actually encountering resistance here as well. All right, I think that means yes, we have no choice but to consolidate. So in fact, let's defend here for now against the onslaught of the 4th Arkansas Minutemen, and then we'll see if we can manage an encirclement around Travenport, and then we'll go for Dallas from there. So yeah, breaking through too far causes chaos. All right, a few things domestically we need to do with. The fate of the veterans organizations. After the Civil War, many organizations appeared to protect the legacy of the brave soldiers who defeated the Red Menace. The Union of Volunteers, the Association of the Siberian Riflemen, the Czechoslovak Veterans Union, the Krasnov Organization, the Green Union, and many others were largely organized around specific Civil War-era armies. Almost all of these are now supportive towards the SZRS, but the Green Union has been especially loyal to the cause. Under Alexander Antonov, the famous Vozhd of the Tambov peasants, the organization became essentially a recruitment pool and political front for the Svobodniks. Antonov was forced to resign, but it is no secret that many of these organizations still harbor anti-democratic ideas. More radical voices have called for outright disbanding the Green Union and for an investigation to root out Svobodnik sympathizers from these groups. However, the veterans are a very powerful lobby group, and moving against them would not look good for our government. All right. We have the opportunity to disband the Green Union, which gives us 1% stability, but will anger, obviously, the more right-wing. or to say, well, they do have freedom of speech, and if they decide they can support, that they would like to support the more authoritarian ideas of the old Savinkovist government, they actually, in fact, do have that freedom. So even though it costs me an additional point, freedom of speech is a very important good, and silencing political opposition is the first step towards dictatorship, which is what we just came from. So no, they have the freedom of speech. Meanwhile, establishment of the border zone. A border zone of the Russian Empire was established based on the law on the state border passed by State Duma today. The new border region, usually 7.5 kilometers deep, would be put under special surveillance. People who were not residents could not enter the border regions without explicit permission from the Ministry of Internal Affairs or the Ministry of War. We should rename that to Ministry of Defense at some point. This zone will also include the majority of the Black Sea and Baltic Sea coastline. Okay, so basically like all this region here. With these precautions, spying and sabotage by foreign nationals can be restricted greatly, and the border regions can be dedicated to defense purposes. For 40 political power, I could block this, or we could get some stability and accept it. I think it somewhat infringes on people's rights, but people also have to realize that they live here, and this is going to become a war zone, if they like it or not, because war is probably on the horizon. So they better get used to wartime measures and temporary restrictions of these sort of things. And are we actually good on supply? Yes, we are good on supply. Okay, harsh but necessary. Yes, costs us a bit of popularity on market liberalism, but that is the reality of it. How is it going in Italy? It looks like the socialists are actually making advances north into the Italian Republic. But they're still being pushed back quite significantly by the Papal States and the two Sicilies in the south. So we will not yet get involved there. These are still planning the assault, the troops. And in the States, okay, how does it look here? We have established we've established a position close to the naval crossing, but we will have to wait for the enemy troops to... Oh, that's why it's so difficult. These are German East Asian troops. That's the Auslandskommando China, the Foreign Command China. That's what we're facing over there. All right, we'll deal with Batavia first, and that's just a single Dutch division that is encircled there, and a Hong Kong division as well, interestingly enough. So we'll see if that solves the situation. But for now, we're getting back at, and I do have to keep an eye on the decision. So 58 days, and then we need another 50 to kick off another one of these. But that means we can potentially we've got some stability and railroads, but it does cost consumer goods factories. We've got a couple of projects already running, so I think we might actually save up a bit of political power as well to kick these off a bit, to get one of these that give us factories rather than the infrastructure ones. All right, defending or attacking on all fronts. I think we are about to take Shreveport, not Shreveport. I might have mispronounced that earlier, and so we're pushing back the militias from these positions. And we have an opportunity here to create an encirclement near Dallas, because friendly troops have taken Dallas, which means that they're trying to escape, which means that we might be able to encircle and destroy a few enemy divisions near Dallas. And that means, okay, we do have to be careful here, however, that we are not getting cut off ourselves. Okay, 2 enemy divisions have been caught off guard near Dallas. So once I think this division is a bit exposed in the north, so we might actually fall back a little bit there. All right, Academy of Sciences is complete. With that, We have made once again a large amount of political power. That wasn't even, was that in here? No, that's just a research slot. Where did the political power just come from? Not complaining, mind you. All right, we can get a computing technology research bonus. Let's have a quick look. We're already doing computing machine. So that would be sort of doing this one right after. I think we might have more interesting research to do. We do have to get a bit of the tank research done, and we're starting to get to the point where artillery research is necessary. And yes, obviously, we need to keep up with the infantry research here. Everything else is still very much ahead of time. How are we on? Okay, and we need to get this needs to happen. So we need to get the railway guns researched, because that's going to be an essential manufacturing step. Although we're not going to have the factories for that just yet. So there's a few other things that we probably need. Field hospitals might be one of them. I do like field hospitals. But right now, so how are we distributing? We've got two on industry, one on computing, and that means we can do 2 on infantry. Yeah. So let's do the other one and get that out of the way as well. All right, and then what are we going to pick up next? So a few things. I think assimilating the bandit states, ending the Kazakh emergency is a good one to get this all underway. And then we can probably do a few things here. This one we can go for. This would just get us into limited exports for free. This would give us political power gain, free, and that actually switches to free trade. Where are we right now, actually? We're at exports focus, yeah, we're at export focus. Don't necessarily want to go to free trade. Export focus I am somewhat happy with, although we do have a fair amount of resources. We could actually get up to free trade for the time being, but it's not a priority. A democratic curriculum is also one, and the Imperial Advisory Council would be one, and we've lost the party popularity. Dang it! So we did this, and then addressing the people. And that would be something we could do. This one also was. This is actually, I think, useful. We might have to do this first because industry decisions. This shortens the time for industry decisions, reduces resistance. So that's all pretty important. And Petrograd security actually needs to happen as well. So we could start pressuring Finland, but I think we'll leave that to the next after. We'll do this one, then probably assimilation bandit states, Petrograd. We'll see. We'll see if anything changes. All right. So this gives political power, and actually, where were the focuses that reduced the cost for? Here, this one for political advisor cost. Okay, that is probably very useful to have sooner rather than later. So I can start getting the political advisors in. All right. So lots of important things. We'll do this one first. Then probably assimilation, Petrograd, imperial, democratic curriculum, addressing people in some order or other. All right, that's going to happen. Done. Streamlining authorities, and that leaves me obviously with many things we can kick off. Although that is going to reduce the time for industry decisions. Is that going to apply retroactively? It might. Because that reduces the time that we actually have to spend with consumer good factories. Because we do have 100 political power, so I can kick off a few more projects. The German one is still 55 days away, so if we can do 2 for 50, we have a few here that give civilian factories, and we've got these economic footprints. So that's civilian factories. That's 2 civilian factories. Or that's more expensive because of dam. That's 2 mills, and that was oil. that was oil in Kazan. Okay, so we get the Kursk tractor factory gone. It's all the same time, right? Yeah, 60 days. We get the Kursk tractor factory underway, and we get this one going. Is there anything? This is one. Okay, this is 2 civilian factories and a dockyard. Okay, this is just 2 civs. This is 1 civ and steel, and this is railways. Okay, 2 civs and a dockyard. Let's go. Far Eastern fishing industry, and then we can save up for the next German decision. And that should really help kickstarting the economy. Okay, we have to look around a bit first. Planning is well, getting relatively far. Unfortunately, enemy troops are dug in here now, but they are getting attacked. Although the attack is going to peter out relatively soon, I believe. We are really in a pretty much in a stalemate here, and Batavia is still holding. So, why are they holding out for so long? It's just 1 division. We should be able to finish them off. So that should happen relatively soon, and then we will see what becomes next. Okay, today it was announced that Batavia, the center of the Dutch East Indies, had fallen. The city had been under the control of the Dutch since 1619. Rising to become the jewel of the Dutch Empire in the region. In a proclamation from the Palais de Königsplein, the Indonesian general in charge of the occupation attempted to reassure the local population, promising that no harm would come to them. With the fall of Batavia, the ability of the Dutch East Indies to maintain control of Java and the other islands has suffered a severe blow, perhaps permanently. Only time will tell if the colonial forces are able to rally and regain control. All right, so that means we are going to have to, and I am struggling to get a frontline position here. Okay, I'll sort that out. But we are going to have to, by the looks of it, they haven't surrendered though, which given that they are still controlling a vast amount of territory, that is rather unusual. But the next step will be to force the crossing here. And that will require some planning because, when there's a fair amount of aircraft, enemy aircraft in the area, we might even have to give our mountain divisions anti-air. We'll do that because that's probably the only way that we are going to get across. We'll have to do that for the other divisions eventually. That's why I've been stockpiling the what is this, 20mm anti-aircraft guns here. So there's a fair few things we can do. We can actually, I think we now have 2,000 rifles to support the PSA. So I think we'll send those to the trade them for 5 army experience. That's worth it. And once we have 50 command power, then we'll see if we can take this decision here. Okay, so the mountain divisions are going to plan an operation that they're not quite familiar with, which is to actually cross the straits here onto the other side and support the troops there. Alternatively, we could swing east and clear out the rest of these islands if we can't force that, but we'll see if we can make it happen. For now, we'll be planning that special forces operation. It does goes to show that we might eventually need marine divisions the troops in China will wait until they're completely done with planning. So that leaves us with the States for now, where we are, I think. We are about to destroy the first Louisiana, and then from there on we can. This seems to have all collapsed, so in that case we might as well just hold out here and secure the lines in support. So enemy lines here have collapsed. Divisions in the south are going to be, territory in the south is going to be taken by the 1st California National Guard. And that means we can continue the push north once we've secured, actually let's go like this. Once we've secured the territory here, we can begin the push north towards Little Rock. There is a supply hub here that we need to take, however. Shreveport is not one, but we do have one here in Louisiana that needs to be that still needs to have its railways connected. So all in all, we're making progress, and we'll let the fifth recover a little bit from, and then we'll launch another assault east towards the supply position there, and then I think we can skip north just towards Oklahoma, cut off all these, and secure the river line south of Tulsa to make that all stable. All right. Which designer is this? I have no idea. Let's have a quick look. Where are we using this for? Oh, support equipment. Okay, so this is for support equipment. Infantry absorption, production efficiency gain, output production cost, production resource need, and that's production efficiency cap. Yeah, I don't think 5% resource need is going to make any difference because okay, maybe it acts cumulatively. So we're not short on aluminium, however, yet. We will be. So this might actually not be a terrible one to take, because this one needs the metallurgical department. So we can actually reduce. Let's see how this works. So 5% resource need. Let's see if it makes a difference. Currently on 510, and there's no need because that's a production line upgrade. So if we look now, we're still on 510. So, but it does apply here. So simply that 5% is not enough. But the next one, we get a 30% reduction, which is going to stack with this, which means we're going to use less aluminium for support equipment, which is good because we want that. We can, this isn't going to make a difference. It's just going to reduce the amount of steel. So we have use for old rifles. Which is, there's a fair amount of captured equipment here as well that we can eventually convert. We do have enough military army experience for a few things. I am again reluctant to spend it on the land doctrine while not having a theorist in place, but I'm also realizing that it's going to be quite a while until we actually get a theorist. Who do we have actually? This is air doctrine. This is land doctrine, cavalry, heavy tank. Okay, this designer cost, additional breakthrough. Okay, this is quite interesting. We have a firepower proponent. That's science to victory, will to victory. So this would be shock or firepower, and that's air. So we actually have only two land doctrine theorists that we can't select anyway right now. So where does that come from? Probably somewhere in the army tree here. Okay, there's the two. So there's will to victory, which sounds more like the heroism and throw people at the problem, and science to victory, which sounds more like what I want. So that probably, and that gives us a land doctrine reduction cost. Yeah, I'm saving this because doctrines don't need to be researched anymore. So we also do need to do some refurbishments of our division templates quite urgently. So in the meantime, let's launch a few minor attacks here while we're consolidating the front line. Over in China, the planning is complete, so we will launch another assault and see if with the planning bonus, that gives us a 40% firepower increase. That hopefully should be sufficient to break that position. Let's see. And then advance towards Chengde. We will see if we can manage to break through there. We don't have any. There's no air situation here, so this isn't really making a difference. But I think we will have hopefully enough. Oh, there's a Japanese division here that's dug in. My gosh, yeah, that's going to be trouble. Getting the Japanese out of there is not going to be easy. With 3 divisions against that, that's going to be a struggle, and I think even with good planning, this isn't going to happen. All right, we'll abort this attempt, and that means we are going to change the front line and we will try to re-establish this defensible position here, which of course means that we still have the plant preparation bonus, but we're just changing the focus of our positions there. All right. In the States, okay, where are we looking? So we are now seeing some problems with supply here, which is unsurprising because that hub isn't connected yet. But I think we can still manage to advance further north, and we are securing the supply position here. But this attack is starting to stretch the capabilities of our armored divisions a little bit, because we are running very low on fuel and ammunition. But we are pushing the Argentinians out, and with that we should be, with that we have consolidated the line here, and we can continue forcing the river crossing, and then I think then we'll swing towards Tulsa. But we've made good progress compared to the combined syndicates. We've taken a fair amount of territory. I just want to consolidate the lines north as much as possible. And we actually are having now contact along an increasingly long line with syndicalist divisions. And hopefully the rifles we have sent are going to make a difference. The fourth mechanized is running very much out of steam here, so I think we'll abort this assault for now. Let them recover a little bit, and then they can support the attack, and then we'll simply drive on from there. We're starting to see supplies, so I think this is going to go according to plan. Troops here are relocating, and I think this is probably the better option, to be honest, because these divisions, we still have the plant preparation, so we can immediately begin joining the attack here, while the 67th is defending against a Japanese onslaught from across the river. But I think if we can get the we've got the combat width, so if we can get a few additional divisions engaged, that would be good. Here stable. Here divisions are fully planned, so let's see. There is a single Dutch division on the other side. Let's see if we can force that, and I think we may be able to, because they are a little low on supply on their side. And do we have the? Yes, we have the AA guns. So enemy air support is going to be, effectiveness is going to be significantly diminished, and that is good. Here we are still struggling. The one problem is obviously that yes, there's also another Japanese division here, and that is defending. But big news from the Americas. A peace deal has been signed between the Union State and the Pacific states. So that changes the situation somewhat, because now that means we can. We're on. How is that going to work? So the American Union State retains remnants of territory. Okay, that changes the. That is actually a politically disastrous move, because that prevents us from consolidating our front lines properly. It does get us to technically control the territory. The problem is that that our troops are all in various places. So does that mean that we're combining our efforts against the syndicates now? That is theoretically not a bad idea. But this is going to get chaotic very quickly. So first of all, obviously this front line makes no more sense, which means we now actually have our troops technically on enemy territory, and we have to see where we can lead the next best attack against the Americans. Probably north in Iowa. It'll all depend in the end on supply. We do have a supply up in Omaha. Although that is starting to get strained. So if we throw 3 tank divisions in there, that is going to cause trouble. Instead, taking Minneapolis would remove supply, because this is already Canada, would remove supply from the whole northern flank. So that's, I think, where we will redeploy. So let's get our armored divisions on a line north here with the goal of taking Minneapolis. All right, that means these divisions are going to be busy moving for now and redeploying. And the Union State and the Pacific States are now joining forces against the combined syndicates. Okay, so that's an interesting development. I'm still not in favor of it, because I think the initial chaos is going to give the syndicates an opportunity to take Union State territory that we have trouble defending. But it is what it is. There's not much we can do about it. Can we break this position? That Japanese division that is dug in. The other problem is obviously that this is a fortified position, so it is going to get increasingly difficult. But I think we've driven the Japanese out. And how is it looking in? Before we go back to that, how is it looking in Indonesia? I think we can force the landing here. And we can manage to break through. Yeah, we've got some locals joining with knowledge of the territory. But what do the news have to say about the big change in the states? Deal with the devil. With their forces hard pressed by the combined syndicates of America, representatives from both the Pacific states and the American Union State agreed to a temporary truce, lest syndicate roll over them both and win the American Civil War. Whether their agreement comes too late, as it does, or if it can even last more than a few months, probably not, before both sides turn on the other, remains to be seen. Most onlookers appear to agree this unprecedented agreement indicates that for now, the combined syndicates of America has the definite upper hand. That is entirely possible. Let's see what we know about them. So they have somewhere around 30-ish military factories, and if we take the middle of that, probably about 80 divisions, compare that to the Pacific states with probably about half, both half the divisions and the factories, and the American Union State, which still has a sizable amount of firepower, but is has not much of an industry left. So yes, the syndicates definitely do have the upside. So I think one task here that we're going to have to do is to begin destruction of syndicalist troops as a priority function of everything. So that's what we shall be functioning on. Now, it is the question of what these troops are, but that's another thing. We have a few things available to us. For that, I actually need to... Okay, for that I would need to put divisions up in the North Caucasus region. And then I could spend 50 command power and 1,000 rifles to get minus 25% resistance after 6 months. That is a long time. What's the resistance looking like right now? Not worth it, because by then it's probably gonna have diminished itself by itself. Could we? There was another. Which one was that gave us a better law? Was it this one? No, these were just. This also reduces resistance already, so we don't need to do that. It was this one that gave us the integration. Yeah, the integration occupation law. So that's something we need to do. I mean, there are a few factories here that we currently don't really have access to properly due to, but most of it is undeveloped countryside. So there's not an awful lot here in the beginning. How about resources? Not massive in the grand scheme of things. So I think we can do this on the down low, and we don't need to spend anything to do this. We, however, have 50 political power that we could use to... interestingly enough, I could still run this. But this will actually be negative now. because while the spirits are still there, both left and right wing are neutral, and press censorship campaigns would now actually be counterproductive. This might actually be interesting to save up for, because I have to do this before the war. and it significantly reduces the cost of setting up our command levels. So that's something we should need to soon, but we also have to keep an eye on that. That's 38 days away. I currently have a 1.1 per day income, so I have to be careful, because even if I spend the 50 now, I'm not going to get that back in time to kick off the next stranglehold decision. Although not all of them cost 50. Let's see, what are we going to take next? This is just regular stuff. More decisions unlocked. And this gives us actually 4% market liberalism. Vostok Neft is going to be improved. Okay, so a few things here. This is resources. This is again making industrial concerns available. This is going to give me political power. But this is going to actually, I actually have to take a look at the amount of impact it makes, because there's one here, which is going to, this is an expensive one, but it's reducing it by 2. So right now we're at 7. It's going to reduce it by 2. What was the effect of this? It reduces war support, but gives us research speed, plus 20% resources to market, and intelligence and trade differences. Are we actually boycotting the? I'm gonna have to check. Are we boycotting the Reichspakt? Interestingly enough, we can't do that yet because they don't hate us sufficiently. So that's something we'll actually do later. These divisions are moving. Okay, can you please take the trains if possible? No trains available here. You two take the railway, please, because that's going to take forever otherwise. All right, China situation. We are making progress in retaking the fortification. Now the question becomes, can we force the river and use the momentum once we've retaken the position and then start threatening Chengde from the north? That would be interesting. It's a slow grinding process here. These are in the move. And here we are making progress as well. The Sumatra division is, despite the fact that we are fighting under area superiority, the effect is not as great as it used to be. So that's a good one. Oh yeah, I was actually thinking if I was going to take a 25 tick decision, economic projects, but I think railway is not something I necessarily want right now. We do have 500 in the TOS. Okay, I'll find these medals and I'll see what they do, because I also want to use the funds to actually improve. I'll probably not use it for now, because I do want to improve the MIO. But later on, when we're basically done with what we want, we can keep using these funds to give out medals. So that's a good thing. All right, let's see. This is going through, but Poland has re-elected the monarch. Okay, so that Poland has stayed within. We could have tried to mess with them to do political influence in Poland, but I think the other decision was more useful for us, because I think it gave us base stability, and there were quite some useful effects from that. So it was worth it. All right, here we are making our way through the Japanese have rejoined, which of course makes things even. Okay, but we now can send in the 67th mountain from the southeast. And we can use them to assist in this combat while the Chinese regulars are holding the line here, and we'll see if we can finally drive the Japanese defenders out of these fortified positions south of the river. In the States, okay, please take the train. Can we get all of you to, okay, I'm gonna sort this out, hang on. Okay, the pathfinding is severely struggling with that because it was trying to send me through enemy controlled territory basically. So I had to manually plot a railway line to get them towards the front lines. So, but at least they're now all deployed on train and they're doing strategic redeployments, which also means they need trucks. These have trucks. These have trucks. These might need trucks. They might as well get them. All right, so we're breaking through here. Where do we have supply though? There is no supply, so this might get quite interesting. But at least then we're back in mountainous terrain, so I think there will be some advantages there. Here we are still trying to once again push the Japanese out from which have rejoined the positions. Why are these so strong? It's the fortifications, yeah. Taking these, once again we push them out. There's the cavalry division, and once again we're trying to retake this position. These are now, yep, they're following the paths, good, and we've almost managed to take the beaches of the Northern Island, and that will be our jump point to join forces with the rest, who is getting pushed back. So it's good that we took this. Oh, what happened here? Oh, the Germans have landed. Okay, the Germans have landed east of Batavia. All right, so new plan: take the beachhead, defend the beachhead with one division. And then the other division goes east, and actually we might need both divisions east because there's 4 German divisions here. We're not going to be able to deal with that otherwise. So German landing behind the lines is going to be causing a lot of trouble. Okay, that means if we can't deal with it anyway, we have to deal with it first. Otherwise we might lose 3 divisions in the east, and there's only 2 Indonesian divisions here that are trying to hold this. Okay, we do need to kill the. We do need to destroy the German divisions here. That is priority. We're this close. The problem is if we take it and then return, we might try. Maybe the Indonesians can hold the line. Okay, so that requires all attention at this point. Quick look. How many days? 29 days. 29 days away. Maybe the Indonesians can hold this point. Okay, now they've reinforced. We'll give it another day if we can manage to push through before the reinforcements can join, because they are almost, yes. Okay, they have been defeated. All right, we take it immediately. Abandon this front line. Oops, sorry, wrong key. Abandon this front line. Return to positions. Okay, this is river positions. This is less than ideal. I am actually going to instead deploy here with the goal of destroying the German naval invasion. So immediately abandon the position, return here, hope that the Indonesians join up, and then we'll deal with the German naval invasion here. In China, the Japanese have once again rejoined the defenders after being pushed out multiple times, and we're still using all possible means to defeat them there. But it is a hard fight, despite the fact that our mountain divisions have been improved noticeably. We're almost done with streamlining autonomies, and I think we can probably actually spend the army experience now, simply because we have the troops actually struggling. It is defense, but defense is breakthrough as well. So I'm gonna take it. and then wait for further accumulation of army experience. This is actually a decent amount of army experience, to be honest. More troops coming in. We keep pushing them out, but they keep reinforcing before we can take the territory. All right. Okay, I think we've given ground in the north here. That's why we have trouble. So we'll redeploy, and we might clear the south before we push towards Minneapolis. The American Union is rapidly disintegrating, unfortunately, which was foreseeable. But I was hoping that we could secure the lines a little closer to the front. That said, these troops here are now actually further than I was initially expecting. So maybe this turns out to work in our favor after all. China, and here we are. Okay, the Germans have already moved, so Batavia is under direct attack, which means because they have now been reinforced, we might actually not get as far as we initially thought we could. But let's see if we can. Yes, the Indonesians have taken the other side of the other side. That is great. We might have to. Can we ascend? We've already got 2 divisions. We might actually have to send them some equipment. We've got a bit of rifles laying around. I do need to start training divisions again, but we can. I think we can send them some equipment. Unfortunately, I can't see what they're short of, but most likely rifles. We've got some old rifles. Once, and we'll send everything, and probably these ones we don't have. We've got a bit of foreign equipment that I think we can send, so just yeah, that and probably those. All right, that should do it, and with that hopefully they can that'll help them a little bit with holding their positions. So if they can defend this, that'd be great. We are going to try our best to deal with the German-Dutch naval invasion east of Batavia, and see if we can manage to retake the positions here. So we'll see. We'll see, as long as we hold the other side, and we have a single Indonesian division coming in from the other side. So they do hold the port, unfortunately. So that'll sort of be a strategic imperative. Unfortunately, the river position here is going to be very hard to crack. So we'll see if we can swing around the south, maybe take the port, and then encircle and destroy. That will be the task. In the States, we're moving troops closer to the border, and in China, we are still trying to retake. We're still trying to retake this position under red air. Of course, that's part of the problem here. It's the same problem in Indonesia, but we'll see what we can get done. Anyway, relieve Batavia is the first task. Get the mountain divisions moving ahead, and I think we have managed to do so. And then I think we can. We'll stay on the front line here for a second. Let the 2 mountain division recover. See if we can trick the 156. Schutzgruppendivision to move into a trap and then cut off and begin destruction. Yes, we could. Perfect. So we can instantly encircle them. That is unless of course this Dutch division makes their way here first. But we'll leave the 64th in the north to recover, and we get the 60th to move into the mountains and see if they can get there before the Dutch can, and defend that position. And while we are destroying no, we can't. Okay. So next task: evict the Dutch from the mountains, unless they can reinforce, of course, which would be unfortunate. But yeah, they are sending reinforcements. So. This might end up. This trap, unfortunately, might end up not working in our favor. we're not getting through the fortified positions here and to retake this. It's an absolute stalemate and a bit of a meat grinder, to be honest. But we are now having armored divisions on the front lines that can start supporting the assaults. Once we've cleared out the northern position here, and I think that is going to happen rather rapidly, I am going to shorten the front line already to concentrate on the southern push. While the two mechanized divisions here are defending, they need to organize, obviously, but we've already done this. So we can get all 3 armored divisions positioned to potentially enact a breakthrough eastwards to encircle that salient and deal with these syndicalist positions as well as their supporters. Yeah, China troublesome, and Indonesia obviously also in trouble. We do absolutely have to hold the port of Batavia, though. That is pretty essential. I doubt that we can manage to break through here before reinforcements arrive. And what I could do, I don't have we could send the 64th. Can we attack them there and pin them in place? Yes, we can. Okay, so we'll send the 64th in to try and hold them, while the 60th is trying to is desperately trying to push out the Dutch from this position. This is all extremely risky because our divisions are at the end of the rope pretty much. But once again, we've done streamline the autonomies. We have 75 political power, good amount of political power. It has reduced the resistance, and it has enabled a few decisions. So we'll end the episode after we've taken the next step here, where June 1938. We are probably going to have to throw in one of the army ones relatively soon. This needs doing. This can't be done yet because nothing's to do there. This would give us this is the political advisor cost. Okay, we're doing this next. Imperial Advisory Council. And then we've still got 20 days, but we've got enough political power to do a few things. This would give me 4% stability, which I am in need eventually, but we'll leave that on the back burner and focus on the industry for now. We've still got a few economic projects that need doing. This is 2 sieves and a dam. And 5 buildings, though, and 1 infra. This is 2 mills, and this is oil. Let's get the 2 sieves and the dam, and we've got this is 2 sieves, 1 sieve, 1 infra, and this was railway, and one of these underway. So that happens. This should have reduced the time for the industry decisions. How long are they taking now? 50 days. It used to be 60 days. So that's good. Yeah, that's less stuff. This takes a long time, actually. I might not have paid attention to how long this takes. Oops. This takes a year. All right. That might have been a mistake on my side because I wasn't paying attention on how long this one takes, actually. I thought they would all take the same time. So some of them are a bit faster now, so definitely have to keep more of an eye on how long these actually run. But that's underway. So then we just have to maintain political power to keep working on reducing the stranglehold of German capital. But all in all, we're slowly getting to the next step. We've got 59 war support. So once we can definitely go up to partial mobilization. Once we have the things in place that reduce the cost for these decisions and save us political power, we are still selling equipment, which is good, and we are we're on track. We've got 5 research slots now. I think that's pretty much it. Was there another one? Research slot, Academy of Sciences. There's another one. This one does not unlock one. Does it? Where does it say? No. This does not unlock a research slot. I'm not sure game where you find that, but catch up with the West. But that's basically post-war, I think. So for the time being, we've got 5 research slots. We've got 90% research speed, in which case the German economic influence is actually quite useful. But yeah, we have many things to do. We're still short on factories. So civilian factories, 69 is not enough. But that's we'll get there. We're still in 1938. We'll get there. We're building up military production. We are going to have to start building refineries pretty soon. So synthetics, because even if we can manage to get to liberate Indonesia, and if I'm going to be completely honest, right now it doesn't look like, but even if we can manage to do that, then the trade here would mean that we would have to trade here would mean that we would have to go via sea, which obviously would be a bit of a problem because we have absolutely no way of securing these trade routes. So we'll see how everything goes. But right now, the plan is to build up more autonomy in the Russian Empire. We have to build up an air force urgently, which means we are, at least once the war starts, in desperate need of rubber. And for that, we are going to have to have synthetic refineries.